Hi, welcome here from Tbilisi, from European Georgia. It's an amazing place, I really like it. I want to show you here from the river this beautiful skyline and the hills above Tbilisi. Over there the old town, these famous administration centers and many of the places which are up in the hill and very beautifully so. It's maybe best explained what oligarchy makes to a country. Up there in the mountains you can see the villa of Mr. Ivanishvili. That's okay, every rich person can have a villa, but oligarchy is producing negative results. Yeah? And we shouldn't have oligarchy as accepted reality in a country like Georgia. And it's automatically happening by the merging of political and economic power. One big oligarch that also takes the political reins of the country, and then probably also always with some Russian links, and then you have the mass united. And then you symbolize it, for example, he has withdrawn from politics. Officially, he is now living in his villa, and he is still controlling much of the economy and of the society and the political world. Yeah? And that's, of course, a major problem. How to answer that? Only EU integration can help here. And the EU integration with the attached power of the competition law. That's the one way. And the other, there must be some transparency, and there must be also some change in the political party funding, and there must be some clarity here in the transparency and in the political structures. We cannot go on like this. Single individuals cannot control the political process, and there should be some agreement that there is an end to this, yeah? Because it's really absolutely wrong. Oligarchy is the contrary to European unification and to the European economic SME model. And here we have the classical situation. Like we have it unfortunately many of the Southeastern European countries, you have just a few of the political connected and powerful which are controlling most of the economy. That's how it works in Albania, in Kosovo, in Macedonia, in Georgia. In Ukraine, of course, is a much bigger market and they have different problems now in this terrible war. But the basic underlying problem is that these countries are not in the European Union. And even in the European Union, we have too long allowed competition law to be not implied European-wide strict enough. And also we have allowed collusion, political collusion in the countries like Malta, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Romania for too long, and even in Austria. Because we need a much more forceful European competition law, much more powerful FBI, much more powerful Department of Justice, and we need stricter reinforcement of our own rules in Europe, in the European Union. Because that's the way SMEs can develop, that's the way SMEs can really prosper. If there is fairness, equal access to opportunities in competition, for land access, for tenders, for public procurement, for subsidies. Yeah. If we allow too easy collusion and control of the connected few for the resources of everybody, in terms of land, public funding, access to opportunities, concessions, and so on, then you will create societies where just a few are happy and the rest has to immigrate, yeah? Has to leave, yeah? Because there is no better way for them to really have a decent living, and also the incomes don't rise because only the incomes for the very few politically connected are rising, and that's of course deeply problematic. And that's why freer markets, we should regulate the market, but according to European competition law, also well informed and well enforced, are key to reform such countries, and without them it's impossible to really reform it. And the symbol is one oligarch on one hill, on one villa, controlling one country, and that's very sad. And that's not how it should be. And so this must change, and this must change completely, and therefore EU membership is such an important way. And obviously often that's why it doesn't work, because they collected few, 5, 6, yeah, they think it's a theory, in theory it sounds very good, but in practice it's against my interest, and then often the reforms are stuck. Then the EU Commission investigates, are the reforms stuck? Then they say, the reforms are stuck, and then we are in this complete mess. And Europe should be better than that. We need improvement and a different situation than this, and we need to have a real fast-track accession. That is also the answer to corruption, to collusion, to anti-competitive behavior. It's of course not the magic fix. Also in the EU, as we have seen in Bulgaria, Romania, Malta, Slovakia, Austria, such things exist, but at least, you know, to a much lower scale. And of course there is then also the rule of law. Hello Sebastian. Then you see that these things are getting investigated and cleared up, and that's how Europe shall work, and that's how Europe is working. And in Tbilisi and in Georgia it will work the same way. That's why Europe is so important for Georgia. It's not only for political reasons or geostrategic reasons, they also matter not only for financial and fiscal sustainability and stability, but also for SMEs, also for transparency and de-oligarchization. That can only work in the context of Europe, and that's why our policy of conditioning and imposing a lot of things which they cannot fulfill, and then we delay them, and then the oligarchy happily continues. And that was the policy of the last 15 years. It has to change now. Conditionality is a big mistake. It always leads to major problems, and you can see that in Georgia, in Macedonia, in Kosovo, and so on and so on. And that's why we have to be more courageous, more open, more united, and integrate faster and integrate more successfully and accelerate EU accession in the coming days. That's my public video from here, and I call for more accession faster in the coming days here from Tbilisi, and visit this beautiful country because they really need urgently new European tourists. I cannot replace the massive loss of capacity they have now from Russia, Ukraine, from Iran, and it's a big crisis here, and Europe is the answer for the crisis in which Georgia is today. Thanks a lot for watching. More to come from Pax Europiana, this time from Tbilisi.